the game at Cincinnati, and I think we all knew like what that was going to be like going there, how much Cincinnati wanted Ohio State to play there. Now that you're going to Xavier, I think we know how much they want Ohio State to come play there. What do you remember about that start, and what do you think guys like Malaki and Michi and the younger guys on the team are going to have to be ready for?
Probably the thing I remember the most was just kind of the atmosphere with their fans. You know, any in-state school you go play, especially at the place, they're going to bring fans and it's going to be rowdy. And we kind of see the same thing happening, you know, tomorrow with Xavier. So just for them, you know, I kind of mentioned it to Malaki already, is just to be ready and get your mind right now, because it can get hectic and it can get really loud, but it's just working on trying to like block that out and focus on the game, focus on just each other and the team is probably the most important thing.
And that was a team that was replacing some older guys, like Kata wasn't there anymore. And, what was that team? What did that team have that enabled it to find success in a situation like that? That wasn't grinded out type of game. What did that team have, and do you see any similarities with that team and this team?
Yeah, I would just say like the togetherness. I believe we had good chemistry with that team, and that's kind of what helped us in those situations, especially being on the road. Kind of like I mentioned, with just staying together and staying in the moment, trying not to focus too much on the outside stuff. And that's something I see with this team too. We're really close. You know, we're building that chemistry every day, and I think that'll only help us, especially with these away games, these road games.
For Malaki, I mean, just what's it been like, the emotions, the excitement of, you know, your first 3 games of college basketball, and also did you expect to, you know, to be starting for this team this early on?
You know, it's always exciting to play, and especially, you know, the first game was a down to the wire game. So it's been good. You know, my first 3 games. I'm excited for tomorrow. You know, there's going to be a lot of fans in there, and then you know, always expect, you know, good things, you know, for myself. You know, but I just kept working, and you know, when they needed me to start, and you know, they called me in the starting lineup. You know, I was ready. So.
Coach Holtman said at the end of that game that you didn't show any nerves at all, and you were just, you know, super cool. Is that always how you've been, and how do you keep your cool, especially in that situation in your first ever, you know, college game?
Yeah, you know, always. I don't get nervous that much. You know, have a little butterflies before the game, but other than that, it's kind of just about hooping, playing basketball. You know, just trying to win the game. So I feel like I made the right play at the end of the game.
And for Kyle, you know, there's a couple Big Ten transfer guys on this team. Obviously, Jack Nunge from Iowa and Jerome Hunter as well. What do you make of those guys' games? Nunge, I think, had a big game against you guys last year on Iowa. What do you anticipate in the matchup with those guys against Xavier?
I had 2 great players you just mentioned, and you know, that was 2 good additions for Xavier. So you know, we're expecting them to play us really tough tomorrow. We know how good of a team they are. You know, especially adding those 2. So that's why, you know, this past week and just leading up to this game, we've been doing a lot of prep. Today's going to be a lot more specifics today to get us ready for tomorrow.
Malaki, what was that huddle like in the Akron game with 3 seconds left when coach draws up a play and they say, we're getting the ball to Malaki, he's got to make the right decision? What was that huddle like?
Yeah, so basically it was kind of just a play to get a wide open shot, either for me, and then, you know, Zed, it was just like, you know, they were talking about switching it when I was under the rim, and then he was like, if they mess up the switch, like, we're going to be wide open. And he was wide open, so I just threw it to him and had him do the rest of it. So.
You talked about your composure and just kind of staying calm in those kinds of moments. I don't know a lot of freshmen making their first game would have the ball in their hands with 3 seconds to go and have to decide, am I going to shoot, am I going to pass? And would pass the ball. I think most guys might try to force the issue to themselves.
Yeah.
What was going through your head then when you get the ball and you have to make all those decisions so quickly?
Yeah, I just kind of read the game. You know, I saw 2 people come at me, and then I just left Zed wide open under the rim, which I know, you know, he can make a layup. So I threw it straight to him, and then, you know, he finished the job.
Malaki, was there a moment for you that you remember, whether it's in practice, whether it's against, you know, in these past 3 games, was there like a welcome to college basketball moment for you, like in terms of, you know, the difficulty or?
As of right now, no. And not right now, I really can't think of it. Yeah, I don't know moments right now.
So it's what you expected, like the level of play, the level
Yeah,
of intensity?
you know, I kind of, you know, I'm adjusting well. You know, I've been going against these guys, and, you know, they kind of just tell me what I need to do and, you know, how I need to play, you know, what expectations of college basketball it is. So I feel like I've been adjusting well.
There's a lot of older guys that, I mean, when they say, watch out for, if there's a player to watch or someone, your name comes up a lot.
Mhm.
Is there a lot of pressure in those situations, or is it something you're like, yeah, my name deserves to be in those?
I wouldn't say it's pressure. I'm going out here just trying to win, just trying to win games, and they take the pressure off of me. The teammates take the pressure off of me, so I feel like it's no pressure at all.
Chris talked about after the game the significance of losing Justice. What does he do for your team, and how are you guys collectively going to be able to step up for a player that can guard multiple positions and also play multiple positions on offense?
I mean, he's been great for us, so, anytime we don't have him in the game, you're going to notice it just with his size on the offensive end and the defensive end, his quickness, like the way he handles the ball at his size. So, it's tough to lose anybody on the team, but, I'm just wishing him the best and hoping he can, get back on track with us here soon.
And for yourself, how you've been feeling these first few games, obviously going through all the things that you've been going through, how you feeling, and can you play as many minutes as asked, and where are you with that?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. These past few games was just about pretty much getting my wind back. It's pretty easy to lose your wind, once you're used to playing at such a high level all the time and then you have some time off. So that was kind of the main thing. But in terms of body and everything, I'm feeling 100%. So I feel like I've got my wind back to a good point, and I'm ready for whatever coach needs me to do.
Just for Malaki, you went from being a leader on a state championship team to having other guys that have been here for a long time, fifth-year guys. What do you take away from them as you're still trying to learn the game of college basketball? Obviously, you step right into that role, but what are you taking away from them in game moments and also in practice?
Yeah, probably just that leadership. They've been here, 5 years, 4 years, or whatever. So I feel like just seeing how they approach the game, how they listen to coach, all that stuff. So I feel like I'm picking up, kind of the stuff that I said. So.
Kyle, they always say in like the NBA, when teams have long road trips, it's a chance for the team to come together, build chemistry, those type of things. College basketball, obviously, you don't have that extended road trip, but you guys will kind of have that with the game and then going down to Florida. What can that do for you guys, as you mentioned chemistry a couple times already? What can that do for you guys here?
Yeah, I think it's important. We already spend a lot of time together anyways. It's just kind of how we are as a team, and I feel like we're all super close. But getting to experience those road trips, especially for newer guys like Malaki, I think is important because you're getting used to it still, just being on the road, what that's about with prep, all that stuff, taking care of your body. So I think it's important, for our chemistry, and it'll only help build it, as we get into this next game. We got to focus on Xavier first, and then the Florida trip. But yeah, I think it helps.
Cal, are you able to at all talk about kind of what you went through on your bad days? When Holtman said vestibular dysfunction, we all went, I think, scrambling for WebMD just to figure out what that was. But what was that like for you?
Yeah, I've talked about it a little bit. Just it's frustrating, obviously. Anytime you have to miss any time, I hate missing games. I hate missing practice. Just being with these guys, so it's frustrating. But having them around me and my family, having the good coaches around us. Just staying positive, and it wasn't as there really was no timetable, just kind of what Coach mentioned too. But as soon as we got into some rehab and things like that, I started to feel better. So I feel like I was able to make a quick turnaround, and feeling back to 100%. So I'm pretty happy about that.
Malaki, I'm sure you probably knew about Kyle before you came in here.
Yeah.
You mentioned he's a 5-year guy. He's an example of a Buckeye who's just grown each year. Like, what have you been able to learn from him, one of the captains of the team?
Yeah, just the leadership. I struggle a little bit, kind of getting down on myself, and he just picks me up when I need it. So I feel like not getting down on yourself and just focus on the next play. I feel like that's where I've been taking my big steps at so far. And
Last couple here.
Malaki, what have you seen out of Scruggs specifically for Xavier, and do you expect to match up with him a lot? And just how good of a player does he look like on film?
He looks like a great player. I watched him when I wasn't in college because I think he's a senior, 4-year guy. So I watched him a couple times. He's a great player. We don't know what the matchups look like, but if I am guarding him, should be fun for a matchup.
Kyle, I guess for both of you, Ohio State hasn't played in like a Thanksgiving type tournament really, minus the PK 80 in quite some time. you said you obviously got Xavier first before you make that trip, but what are you excited about going to Fort Myers and having that experience of doing something like this when, you know, everybody watches college basketball that week?
Yeah, you know, like you said, first, obviously gotta, you know, focus on Xavier here, do what we can to prep for that and get ready for that game, and then, yeah, I'm excited because it's gonna be a few days at least extended trip for us. You know, we talked about just building chemistry with the team, being around the guys more. But, you know, anytime you can make a trip like that to somewhere else is gonna be fun. So, yeah, we're looking forward to it.
Hey, Kyle, I'm curious, you were talking about Justice and his versatility and what he brings, and I'm curious if that's something that, I mean, is that something that can be developed, or are you guys expecting to develop that versatility, whether it's yourself, whether it's any other of the forwards, the guards, the younger players? Is that something that you're trying to kind of build up to kind of, obviously you can't replace Justice doing it his skill, but is that something you're trying to work for so it's not as glaring of a hole?
You know, I think it is something you can improve on and always work every day, you know, to get better in certain areas. But, you know, just as one of those guys who's just he's super versatile and just brings that to the table, you know, naturally, and with how hard he's worked to get his game to where, you know, it's at now. So, you know, it's tough, like I said, when you lose a guy like that. But, you know, we just look for other guys, you know, step up and hopefully fill that role. And, you know, that's what we can only hope for.
One more. Do either of you remember Ron Lewis's shot against Xavier in the NCAA tournament? Do either of you remember watching that, or how many times has that maybe been shown to you since you've been part of the program?
Vaguely.
Oh, man. It's classic Gus Johnson.
No,
Classic.
I've seen it a few times, but it wasn't.
Oh, yeah, I was. Yeah, I was born in 2007. But I didn't
Please
watch
say
college
yes.
basketball like that.